Why was Plunderstorm marketed as a Dragonflight patch?
I want to talk about this. Absolutely. Who are you? Twick.
From Super Girl Gamers XD.
Well, Twick, the level 70 gnome warrior of Supergirl Gamers XD, NAEU. You know, we got to do it like the BlizzCon Q&A.
Pretty sure there's a U.
Okay. Well, Twick EU.
I actually don't know. I took a screenshot. I don't remember.
So I'm just going to, fine. I'll read through their post. And there's probably things I won't agree with, but maybe there is like a nugget of truth.
No. Depiction is endorsement.
Ah!
We live in a world where depiction is endorsement. How don't you ever say anything you disagree with?
So, yes. This is interesting because as WM22 just said in our chat, Holly literally said it would be for Classic and Dragonflight players. Thing is, though, I agree with you. And I think I'm more in your camp in this feature than I am on Twick's camp. However, it did not appear in the Classic roadmap. It did appear in the Dragonflight roadmap.
And it's called 10.2.6.
And it's called 10.2.6, which means it is patch. Yeah, it is framed as a patch to regular WoW, even though Blizzard will be able to also say, well, technically 10.2.6 is the Season 4 changes. Please stop hurting us. But hey, Blizzard, you tied them together. If you draped that skull and crossbones on the roadmap of Dragonflight, that is how people will perceive it. So that's actually, I think, a fair point. I mean, you could say there's aspects that are unreasonable, but I think the core essence there is yeah. I think Blizzard should have said, we're trying a special event with the World of Warcraft engine, and it's open to anyone with a WoW sub. It's just going to be a special little thing. Look, not everybody will like it, but this is something that was cooked up by our experimental gameplay team, who are the same people who helped kick off some of Season of Discovery. It's happening in a few months. We hope you love it, but if you don't worry. We're all learning. We're all kind of having fun, and it doesn't take away from the regular content development of the game. Mm-hmm. I have long got the feeling that the PR machine of Blizzard really does itself damage because they're not able to hedge their bets. Now, even though Yoshi P and Co said island sanctuaries are not Animal Crossing, people still, got a the island sanctuary, unfortunately, I think didn't work out for everybody how they wished. So that doesn't fix it. But man, Blizzard, you gotta hedge your bets more. Because whenever this happened, it was treated as a big, hey, we corporation have got a special event. I actually think limited time event was like one of the first things that you see in their marketing. It's like, guys, don't call it that. Call it a experiment. Because you see, if you frame it as an experiment, then your community will think, oh, this is not a limited time event. This is an experiment. And at the end of the experiment, they're going to look at the results of their experiment. So, I do think the Twick is essentially onto something. This was a problem of framing. It's a problem of framing, of expectations. And I think Holly did her best. When she was like, we're going down the motorway in a unicycle with eye patches on. I think Holly did her best, but I think they just could have said, it's an experiment. We actually don't think that it's going to be for everybody, but enough people in our team enjoyed it that we thought it was worth giving it a shot. And because it happened in a Dragonflight version of the, of World of Warcraft, it's easier to just do it in there with its assets, but where anyone can play. Should have just said that. And, some people would have been like, no, I really do believe in this mode. Don't pull your punch. But it's not a pulled punch. It's having a better dialogue with your customer. And that's important when you're doing a live game. Because you shouldn't act like everything you do is awesome that everyone should love. You should act like you're doing things that people will like and then have a chat with all of the people. So that the people who don't like it understand that some other people like it and that's okay. But they're not losing out, so that's okay. But it all just had to come under the banner of marketing. I almost wish, I literally don't know how this works, but I almost wish that more of the community managers were running marketing and not community management, because I just have a sense that like of any department in so many studios, it's always the CMs who get it and know what's up, because they're
on the ground,
yeah, they're there on the ground. And one of the things that can damage businesses the most is the distance between key stakeholder decision makers and the front line, right? Like there's a reason why in our common dialogue, the idea of a general doing their general work way far away from the line, there's a reason why we kind of like, well, that's a bad way to do it. And that, I mean, obviously the stakes are not like that. And actually that's why I do think that way more people, especially people who wouldn't normally be interested in military matters, I do think that way more people should actually study there, because it's the one place where the stakes literally could not be higher. And that really will force people to have a think about how to do things right. So yeah, take About Face. It's a pretty good book. I'd recommend that one. But anyway, I just think that's it's a good source of knowledge, and knowledge is, useful. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think. What do you think, Matt?
What do I think?
Yep, we're talking here to Twick of Girl Gamers XD.
What do I think?
76 hearts.
76 hearts, that's a lot of
One
hearts.
reply.
Yeah,
2 edits, so it's very thoughtful as well.
Oh, very good. Very thoughtful. 2 edits?
Yeah, not just one and done.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot more effort than I put into most of my essays during education.
And also most things.
I just be like, you know what? She's good. Back to WoW I go.
Yeah, like I agree with a large point. It's like, this is maybe, I think, maybe the biggest problem we have today, which is there's such an unbelievable amount of fucking capital D discourse.
Capital D.
That optics is actually, yeah, you're right, Jersey. I think it's fun, it's fine. Not everything needs to be overanalyzed. This is kind of what happens. I have this very strong opinion today, sparked entirely by Dragon's Dogma 2. People need to shut the absolute fuck up, because everyone overanalyzes and overthinks everyone, and it's like, who should be thinking? Not everyone, that's for goddamn sure.
Do you know what, actually?
But yeah,
I have a really solid experience of that when I was at the taping of the Weekly Reset live after BlizzCon, and there was a Q&A. No, it wasn't Q&A. It was a panel discussion at the end about the reveals, and they were kind of chewing the fat on maybe the bad sides of this BlizzCon, and it was either a follow up or it was before he said something, but. Yeah, no, I mean, Tally just said, I don't want to analyze myself out of an opinion that I hold, or something like that. And obviously, sometimes you have an opinion and you analyze, then you no longer have that opinion because you've made some progress. But it's the idea of, it's just that thing, defeat is in the details. And, good lesson generally, but also, or defeat in detail. It's kind of like that, if you, I mean, Matt, say if you look at Dragon's Dogma 2, and you go turbo analysis and everything, I think you probably would be able to almost convince yourself you don't like it anymore. Even though you might like it, warts and all. Because I know, like, from, say, Harvestella and co, you're a big man for the 7 out of 10 that's a 10 out of 10 in your heart. As am I with games like Freelancer and Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 1.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly the problem I have. People think about things, but they don't think about them hard enough or in enough detail. And then they say a load of things and you go, cool, fantastic, excellent. How about don't think? The brain is a prison. Don't get trapped inside it. But realistically, in terms of the actual question of, should this have been marked as VF patch? Clearly not. Like, they scuffed optics, and everyone scuffs optics in every way. And that's the awkward part. Because I think the reason I'm kind of struggling to put it entirely together here, full disclosure, mostly because I'm struggling with the balance between, like, everyone hyper analyzes bad optics. to the point of insane stuff where the most minor of thing gets blown substantially out of proportion because it's an easy to analyze thing and everyone goes, well, I must have my opinion on it. And that's why minor missteps in optics can result in extremely like explosive negativity like appearing. But at the same time, there is a real deep problem in a bunch of like marketing departments and stuff, and this is a global thing, not just video games, that are incapable of being able to sit down and go, well, what are people going to think? What are the optics at the end of it? And it's like you're saying, but CMs is like, CMs will know that stuff. CMs will know. Like, please don't do that. But whoever makes decisions a lot of the time, like, kind of don't really do that. So they thought it was cool, and it wasn't, you know, it would have failed the smell check from a CM, probably, or from enough people that were asked. And this kind of the awkward part of like, you don't want to have, right, okay, well, we need a massive consultancy, like, to go over everything we're doing, like, go over the pores of every single thing we're doing and say, actually, that's not going to land with this category of gamer. That's going to have a chance to backfire. That's going to have a chance to backfire. That's going to have a chance to backfire. Clearly, they thought the weight of, this is fun, this is cool. We're now in box ticked. Everyone's going to want to play it for the rewards because rewards are cool. It's a cool patch idea. Everyone's super happy. It's in the client, so you just play it once, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Sure. Everyone has a reason to be happy. And people who don't care won't care. That's probably what they were thinking. But then I think this came out later than they expected. I think this was early March in intent, but it didn't happen. That's what I think. Which will kind of, you know, obviously an extra week or two of delay of, here's something big cool happening, but we're not going to tell you. The extra week or two actually hurt the hell out of like the people's expectations for it. People had time to mull over it and overhype it and things like that. So they clearly fucked up it, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they maybe should have done something completely different, but yeah. Because I don't want to turn and say, we'll just put something in DF so it feels like a content patch. Because then that's just saying, just do more work. Well, the solution to not having content in your game was to put content in your game. Wow. You're like, well, that's not actually engaging with the details whatsoever. The details are, this was obviously its own thing. How do you position it?
Well, if they're being lazy peons, we need to throw boots at them, I believe.
Exactly. So it was like, yeah, it was basically hyped as a DF patch by virtue of being 10.2.6. If they didn't call it 10.2.6, if they had just said thing happening and having on both roadmaps, would have been fine.
Yeah.
Would have been fine. We wouldn't have been fine. If it was on both roadmaps, people would have screamed that they had to download the Dragonflight client, which, to be fair, is quite large, at like 120 gig these days.
Do you think that is an L? I really wish there was a way that they could just, you know, have this be like, here, it's 5 gigabytes.
Yeah.
I also actually think that, in my humble opinion, the true Plunderstorm is that this is not a 5 gig download, free to play.
Exactly.
For 6 weeks.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, look at that creator showdown that's happening. People will look at that because they know all of these names, right? Your Asmongold's and your Maxes. But not all of them will have a WoW sub. And for a bunch of them, they're like, okay, well, you know, I've watched the thing. I get what it is. I don't need to do it. Yeah. But imagine if those people could instantly, on the BNet client, just hit download and play.
Give it a whirl.
Zero credit card, zero everything. You don't even need a money back guarantee because it's free. Then I actually think that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But also could have probably, you know, cajoled new WoW subs instead of just reactivating old ones. Because honestly, based on the video we're going to be publishing tomorrow, they've already done a good job of keeping people's subscriberships retained. So this should be about new people, not marketing to the existing. At the very least, man, if I don't see a free weekend. So, there you go.
Indeed.